Hi guys, it's Greg Plusinski here. Very good morning to you. Today I wanted to share with you some information, and I wanted to talk about hypnosis. Why it's so effective and why it's so good comparing to any other therapies. Quite often people suffer with anxiety, uh, and those people suffering with anxiety have one or more beliefs that support their problem. And that could include belief that they have always been like this, a belief that they are an anxious person, a belief that their problem is deep rooted, a belief that the problem is complex, and I believe that the problem is weird. I believe that they absolutely know the origin of the problem. I believe that they will never be free of that problem. And I believe that not having the problem will mean facing the fear. So as you probably know, my job as a therapist is to undermine some of these beliefs. And much of this can be done during the discussion, but ideally by the end of the session, hypnotherapy session, the person will understand that they were not born this way. This is not who they are at an identity level. This is something that was learned. That everyone experiences anxiety at some times. That is quite common to have a phobia. That these problems are not deep-rooted or complex just because they are old. That is not a necessity to remember where the problem started. That the goal is not to discover this, but that might happen. That there is a good psychological explanation for these symptoms. That there is a good chance of being free at the end of the hypnotherapy session. And that we do not have to love the thing we were afraid of. So you see, let me start by telling you that rather being weird, it is a fairly common thing for people to have at least one fear. At any given time, 1 in 10 people will have a phobia or something specific. I have seen people who have a fear of buttons, for example, fear of beans, fear of heights, fear of going on a motorway. So I would like to explain you today how this works and why you can be free of it by using hypnosis. So it is often said that we were born with two fears, the fear of failing and the fear of loud noises. But all other fears are learned. And we have two ways of learning. We can learn through repetition, and the most things we learn are learned this way. And this is how we learn to speak, to talk, basically, to write, to drive, and basically what we do, we concentrate upon the thing we want to do, and just do it over and over again until eventually it is as we create a part of us that does that. That means we can function without having to think about walking, for example, or about driving. It is also possible to learn things in an instant. This is a kind of a one trial learning, and many of our fears are learned this way. In other words, we experience one event, often with a high level of emotion involved. It could be, for example, a traumatic event. In that moment, our brain, in an effort to protect us, takes, if you like, a snapshot of that thing or that situation, and it registers it as a threat. And forevermore, our brain scans the environment for signs of that thing or even any indication that it could be encountered. This one trial learning is why it is possible for people to develop a fear of just about anything. It is like the brain was fooled into thinking that something was dangerous when in fact it's not. And this puts our body on alert. And this is quite simple. It provides us with a burst of adrenaline, and this has an effect upon us in many ways. Typically, we first of all freeze and we become still. If that doesn't work, then we have a drive to fight or just run away. Our mouths become dry, our stomach shrinks, our hands shake. And this all goes a long way to explaining the symptoms people feel when afraid or anxious. The problem is when it becomes an automatic response that is triggered even when there is no real threat. And I know that might sound strange, but during the hypnosis, I am communicating. I'm speaking to the part of the person, and that part of the person communicates with me. And when the person is hypnotized, that person can experience those automatic responses. And it could be, for example, eye flickering to indicate a yes signal. It may be the head nods or a finger lifts by itself. For some people, a muscle twitches, a finger twitches. And during the session, I'll ask the part of the person that runs this protective mechanism to take control of this response. And I will also ask that part what that part has been trying to do for the client. And if I would have to guess, I would guess that that part is trying to protect that person from an created threat. Some of the people, they might even be aware of what is trying to do. I mean, that part, what is trying to do for the person. Then I will ask that part to find some other way of doing what it does, but the ways which allows the freedom for that person from any irrational fear and anxiety. And when that part will finish that, it will let me know. So that's basically how it looks. And this way, going through this process, I am able to communicate with the subconscious mind and the part of subconscious mind which is responsible for many things. I hope that this short recording will help you to a little bit more understand how the hypnosis works and why it's so effective. So thank you very much for today, and I will see you very soon. Have a good day. Thank you.